thought we took this meta away a long time ago, and unfortunately we're back to square one with, on top of that, a new annoying meta, which is just Flyer. So, back in Season 0, there used to be this meta called Triple Healer, where basically you would cycle through healer ults, saving one for each time your team was on the brink of death, or if you were trying to counter a very strong ultimate from the other team or something. This brings up a fantastic side note that, notice how pretty much every healer ult in Rivals is just a circle healing ult that heals you a lot, with the exception of Adam, Ultron now, and maybe Old Rocket. I guess, unfortunately, his kit's been changed. I don't like how it is. Honestly, in my opinion, they should have doubled down on the 60%. But notice how in Overwatch, there's like a cacophony of just different things. Not every healer does the same thing with their ultimate. Some heal, but some do other things, like Brigitte gives you extra armor. Moira can mainly do damage with her Kamehameha thing through barriers. Ana gives you a nano boost that essentially boosts one person's damage and durability. Like, there's like multiple diversity. Like Juno gives you a healing beam from the skies that you have to move with, as well as a damage boost, like that also heals you. Like, there's so many different things like that add to it. And as much as I hate her, even Kiriko gives you like a speed boost to like your weapons, movement, and even your cooldowns. Like, there needs to be more diversity here, rather than just circle ability, I heal a lot. Like, there is a character like that, aka Zenyatta, but the catch is that he's more a supportive character rather than a healer. And on top of that, his kit's not overly great for healing, mainly focused on DPS more than anything else. And Lucio, who also has a very similar ability, is more of a quick barrier that dissipates over like a few seconds, rather than being held on a person for a very long period of time. There needs to be a majority of like new healer ults rather than just the next circle ability, because if I see another healer with a circle ability, I'm gonna lose my shit because I'm so tired of seeing this. I want to say before anyone yells at me, but Ty, the biggest issue is Flyer right now, not the healers. Well, actually, it's both. People are just not really seeing it right now. For example, Ultron is sort of tailor-made for this meta, and while he isn't really that bad on his own, he's just like an addition to a meta that, if unfortunately, has come back because of this current meta, which makes Flyers nigh unkillable. Slapping Ultron with Invisiwoman and fucking like Cloak and Dagger, or Loki even, back to back is just fucking like annoying and can make Flyers almost impossible to kill or to deal with in the current game, with only a few characters like Hela being able to break through this type of stalemate. What's the point of fighting a Flyer when they're just gonna jump from like near death to 100 because their healers are constantly keeping them alive along with their tanks? It's a very annoying stall type corny meta. Then it's very promoted with certain characters like Loki, especially, to play scummy like this, which ironic given his nature. Speaking of Loki, I think it's time we address the Asgard-shaped elephant in the room. Loki has been one of the progenitors of this meta since the very beginning. He has an ultimate very similar to the character Echo from Overwatch. The only difference being is that Echo doesn't immediately give you full ultimate charge, rather letting you charge it up yourself via damage or healing. The catch is that her ultimate charge in that form or ultimate is greatly increased, which I think is fine, but for Loki, he just instantly gets the ult when he copies another person, which is why the best thing to do as Loki ult is just to copy another healer, because you can get healer ults like Luna Snow almost twice as much as she can. It makes like diversity of like copying maybe a DPS or a tank very stale, with only like maybe a few Lokis doing it, maybe in quick play outside of like comp or whatnot. But in comp, everyone just copies the nearest healer with a circle ability. And remember, this is after his ult got nerfed back in triple healer meta. And like, overall, let's just talk about ults for a minute on a side note. Back in Overwatch 1, in like back in the day, ultimates were nerfed overall, encouraging more smart play with them. I think Rivals needs to do the same. There are so many times where characters just get ultimate after ultimate. Hell, in a game the other day, I saw fucking stupid Groot on my team just feeding a fucking Punisher constant ult for nearly every fight, and it was just so frustrating to deal with. Before anyone says, well, but Punisher counters Groot, he shouldn't have his ultimate every single fight. Even if this Groot was slamming his fucking face against him, there's still like, should have his ult like every other fight, not every fight because this fucking one group wants to be a fucking moron. Going back to the promoters of this really bad meta, Invisible Woman is a great example of a character that's sort of gone under the radar. For example, her barrier has no cooldown, and before anyone says, oh but Ty, it's only 250 health, how bad can it really be? Well, consider this, if any of you played Siege and you remember how fucking good Blackbeard was during his meta, you probably understand this. It may have short health, but it doesn't really matter when the recharge delay on the barrier is so small that you can still block shots even after like it's been broken or whatnot, because it just recharges so fast that you can even block like one shot, which could kill your healer, especially when against characters like Hela. Like, it's really, really annoying, especially when that healer also has an incredibly good kit with a really good CC that you can push or pull people, and also push people better than fucking Magneto of all people, and also an AoE damage cutoff tool, along with another circle ultimate that debuffs enemies and also helps allies. Like, what? Also another character that you've probably seen spark up because he's been getting constant MVP due to his kit now being changed, aka Jeff. And I know a lot of streamers have unfortunately tried to downplay it like, oh, but his stuff is very situational, like fucking Flats. But if you actually play like any type of like rivals match outside of maybe high level play where everyone's splitting off, like at the very 5%, you'll realize that like most of the time you're still grouped up with your team and you're shooting your team as Jeff while also doing damage to the enemy. He has 100 meters in like healing range or whatnot. And before that was okay because he didn't do damage with it. But now he's not only healing, he's also doing damage, which means he can also be probably one of the best anti-airers in the game, which is ironic and really funny, but still it's stupid. But the biggest caveat of his kit change is his ultimate, because not only does he get it faster due to the fact of damaging people and healing them, which is very often not how many streamers are trying to downplay it, you still will get your ultimate probably the second fastest in the game, which is ridiculous, especially with a displacer ultimate, which before it still had a pretty nice like timer and it wasn't like overly fast or anything like that. So like when it would happen, you still had the ability to like catch it off guard or use your abilities. But now it's like you either like have your abilities constantly, just saving it for this Jeff, or just like solo ult him with like Iron Man or Ultron or something. And honestly, that's the best way I've seen it. I've seen people just straight up counter Jeffs by just ulting him at this point, which is, in my opinion, it's a little ridiculous because like, honestly, the first part of his kit I didn't want changed. The thing I wanted changed about him is him while in fucking diving form or whatnot to be CCable. That's all I wanted. I didn't want him being reworked into whatever this is. On top of that, he's a great new addition to the shitty meta that's rising up again along with Flyer, triple healer. Because now that he gets his ult fast, what you can do is have two healers focusing mainly on healing, him healing every once in a while and doing damage to enemies, and then constantly displacing his ultimate while you still have two healers saving your team. Like, it's really fucking stupid what he can do now. Now that there's both two annoying metas at the current moment, a new one and the old one, I think there's a solution that nobody wants to hear that should be a thing. Anti-heal. Wait. Before you chew my head off in the comment section, I just want you to hear me out for a minute. I think it's the only way to stop triple heal without explicitly touching a character's kit. If you don't want anything to happen to your character on the things I said above, I think this is the only way. Now, I don't mean to give anti-heal that just cuts off healing in a very dumb and bullshitty way that you can constantly keep refreshing. I mean, there's a couple ways you could balance this. For one, you give an anti-heal ult to a tank. I think this is a good choice because I don't think DPS need an anti-heal ability. You give a tank a blanket type ability that doesn't really do damage, but basically causes anti-heal to everyone in the field of the tank or whatnot. And it essentially does what Ana's grenade does in your Overwatch and blocks healing for a little while. Or you could give an ability on a tank that could reduce the amount of healing by 40% of what a person can take. I think this would be fair, well, not a sharp hard counter, to healing, it would be like a way to counter triple healer without killing healers' natural healing overall. But I have faith maybe NetEase will like stop this current problem. Right now, ranked is just filled with people who are doing flyer triple healer right now, and it's honestly not fun, so I've just stuck to playing quick play. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please like, favorite, subscribe, and check out some other videos.